Awesome. Welcome in. Welcome in. Charlotte, you had a share?
Wait a minute. Yes, I'm on day 29. I'm down 11 pounds.
That is so awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm excited for you. How you feeling? Yes, yay.
Yeah.
That's how do I do that?
Oh, so when you go to the microphone, the reaction, see it says chat reaction. Right.
Recognize hand gestures.
Mine doesn't say that. It just says reactions and then you can
Oh,
hit it.
reactions.
Right.
Oh, there we go. This technology I learn every day, a little bit something new. How do I turn
Mm.
it off now?
Ah, maybe there. It just went off,
Oh,
right?
maybe it's just temporary. Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, either way, you got your applause. I'm very excited for that. So, all right. So, welcome in, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I'm so glad you guys are here. Anybody else have any juicy shares? That was great. Thank you for sharing, Charlotte. Before I share my screen. Okay. All right, so welcome in. Happy Wednesday, everybody. I call this Lunch and Learn because here in Arizona, where I am, it is noon. So if you are eating and you want to have your camera off, that's fine. But if you can turn your cameras on, it's nice to see your smiling faces. It used to be everybody left their cameras on, but it seems to be the trend now. Everybody's shy now. So if you can turn it on, but I understand if I want you to feel comfortable and safe. This is a safe environment to share. That's what I want these group calls to be about. So anyways, if you feel the urge, turn your camera on and join the party. So thank you for all that. So today we are talking about atomic habits. We got our welcome. Well, I got a couple of shout outs. I'll talk about atomic habits. It's all inspired by James Clear's books, Atomic Habits, which I'll go into. We'll talk about SMART goal setting, step-by-step habit creation, the laws of behavior change, habits that you should consider starting. And then, of course, we have Q&A at the end of that. So let me start. We've got Abigail. Her brain fog is completely gone and she's brand new, but this was a big deal. It's one of the main reasons she came here to this program, and her brain fog is gone and her walking pace has already improved. So I often give the weight loss goals, but it's not all about weight loss. Some people are coming off medications. Some people blood sugars are regulating, blood pressure is regulating, coming off medications, more vitality, better sleep, better bowel movements, better digestive. So it's there's so much that are benefits to this program. But Abigail, congratulations to you on that. Charlene, same thing. She's gotten bloat relief. She hasn't had this kind of relief in years. So congratulations to Charlene on that. Danielle is down 31 pounds and she's just at the very end of her program. So congratulations, Danielle. And Christina, just this morning, said she's down 18 pounds. So congratulations to you, Christina. I've got several Danielles, several Charlene's, and several Christinas. So if that's not you, there's several of you in the group. We've got, I don't know, 120, 130 active clients right now. So anyway, so today we're talking about goals and habits primarily. And, we, there's so many steps and things. Habits are just that. They're things that we kind of do automatically. So we'll go into welcome in. The problem is, or the hard part is the good habits. The reward is later and later. It's either next week or next month or next year or at the end of the road. Whereas bad behaviors, the reward is often like right now. So like, oh, those French fries smell good, the instant reward to eat the salty, crispy little snack. It's instant reward right now, but the consequence for that down the road can be heart disease, or death, or non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So unfortunately, it's a challenge because we're based on reward. The dopamine hit is the reason why we do so many things. So hopefully you guys have some pen and papers to take some notes. The cost of good habits, like I said, is in the present. The cost of bad habits is in the future. And unfortunately, most of us prioritize the right here, right now. So anyways, so Atomic Habits, written by James Clear. It's on Audible, which is where I was listening to it. But what's cool, and I really, really would highly encourage you guys to go to YouTube. And there are many, 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 many different little clips. There's 10-minute ones, there's 2-minute ones, there's 30-minute, there's 30-minute ones of other people describing his book, or there's even him talking about the different bits and pieces of his book. And so with that, I've kind of done a lot of putting all that together with you here. But if you're struggling with your habits, by all means, please just to reinforce what I'm teaching today, go into YouTube, put in Atomic Habits, put in James Clear's name, and or buy his book on Audible. Give the guy some business, because these habit ideas are really, really pretty cool. All right. So there's lots of different kinds of goals. There's subjective goals, there's objective goals, there's progress goals, there's all kinds of different goals. There's process goals. We'll talk about those a little bit later. But basically, the SMART goals is an acronym for specific, measurable, achievable. I'm going to trade in the realistic for relevant. And then the T is for timely. So when you're setting a goal and you say, I want to lose some weight, soon, it's not specific, it's not measurable. We don't really know what that means. And there's no time on it. There's no, like, by when do you going to do that? But if I say I want to lose 25 pounds by the end of 12 weeks, it's specific, it's measurable, it's definitely achievable. Because if you go 1 to 2 pounds per week, that's a safe and healthy, ambitious, but safe and healthy number. I say relevant because if it's relevant to your values and what you really want out of life and what you value, that's why I use the word relevant instead. And then if you say by the end of 12 weeks, that's definitely got some time limits on it. And why these are very important, because if you can measure it and you're looking at the time frame, so if you say, I want to lose 8 pounds in a month, okay, well, that's 2 pounds a week. That's perfect. That's great. But if you're tracking yourself, and tracking is a really important part of it, but you can't track if it's not measurable. If you go in the first week and you haven't lost any weight, or in the first week you've lost 2 pounds, you know that you are on track to hit your goal of 8 pounds in a month. If you've lost a half a pound or no weight at all, you know that you need to do something different. It's not that you're failing. It's not that, it just means that you need to change it up. It means you need to do something a little bit different. You need to correct your food or correct your exercise, or a little bit of both, or maybe it's just the calories, or maybe it's adjusting your macronutrients, whatever it is that you need to adjust. If you're not on target to hit your goal in a certain period of time, you're going to know it if you're tracking, which is why tracking is so important. I know it's a pain in the butt to track all your food and to track all your calories. I get a lot of pushback on that, and I understand that because I shared this with you guys before. I took a course on finances, and she had us, the students, tracking every penny that came in and every penny that went out, which was a hard thing to do. It's, money's going everywhere. Every little thing, even a pack of gum, to groceries, to, giving a homeless guy $5. Every little penny counts. But if you're seeing where your money's going, it's a way to measure it. Like in a business, if you're not tracking your money in and your money out, how do you know if your business is growing or not? Same thing with your food and your exercise and your weight and all of that other stuff. If you don't know if you're hitting your smaller goals, you're not ever going to know if you're going to hit your long-term goal. So specific, measurable, achievable. So achievable would just mean like, I want to lose 10 pounds by tomorrow. That's not achievable. So that would not be a SMART goal. So anyways, all right, so let's get into it. So which is more important, goals versus systems? Anyone want to make a guess? Systems. Yes. So would it be a fair statement? You guys, I put a football team over here. Would it be a fair statement? The guys in the white uniforms and the guys in the red uniforms both have the same goal, right? The coaches, all the players, everybody, you know, they all have the same goal, which is to win the game. But if you have your different systems in place, the team that had better systems is the team that's actually going to win the game. So let me see what I have on that. Goals are something that happen like right now. So if your goal is to lose 2 pounds this week, that's great, because if you have a longer term, bigger goal, that's great. But goals are basically momentary. So if my goal is just to be able to walk around the block without stopping, because I haven't been able to do that yet, because my cardiovascular system isn't up for it. If my goal is to walk around the block, once I've achieved that goal, then what? Do I just stop? No, I want to keep going. Maybe I want to go around 1.5 or make it around twice, or keep going. Another problem with goals, it's an either or. Like you either win or you lose, but that's not the case. We want to have systems in place. So this is what James Clear says. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. I did hit record, didn't I?
Yes.
Thank you. Because when it's in full screen, I can't tell. And I hate to have to start all over again. All right. So yeah, so goals, once you've achieved it, then you stop. So I would say, let's have some systems. What are some systems? I'll go over some later, but some systems would be to check in with your coach. Your systems would be to meal plan. Your systems would be to meal prep. Your systems would be to start your exercise plan. Your systems would be to join these group calls. The systems would be to check in with your coach and sign up for your coaching calls. A lot of you guys aren't using them, and they're yours. It's part of the program. So sign up for your calls and use them. Especially if you're struggling, and if you've used them all, let me know. I'll work something out with you. I want to make sure you feel safe and supported. So rather than isolate, use me. I'm part of the system here. So please use me and book your time with me. You got to hit the one-on-one with coach in the scheduling link to get the one-on-one with me, but do it. Take advantage of that. All right, next up, we've got, where am I? All right, massive change versus 1% shifts. What do you think?
1%.
So it really is the small, little, tiny, little things that we do on a regular and consistent basis. And James Clear says, if we improve by 1%, if I get myself 1% better today than I was yesterday, and then 1% better, and then 1% better, if I do that every day for an entire year, I'm over 37% better than when I started. The small little micro things that we do may not have the largest impact on our life, but they're going to matter the most, because if I start with, like I said, just walking around the block 1 time, and I work my way up to walking around 10 times, or doing it faster, or doing it in the same distance but uphill, or doing it a little bit better or making it a little bit harder each time I make it get 1% better, I'm growing. So like if I start with just 1 push-up, it gets me started. It gets the ball rolling, because if I do a push-up every day, I am now becoming an exerciser. I am becoming someone who does exercise. But eventually I'm going to get to 2 push-ups, and then eventually I'm going to get to 3, and then 5, and then 10, and then 3 sets of 10. And then eventually I'll go from wall push-ups to kitchen counter push-ups to then bench push-ups, and then maybe onto the floor on my knees, and then eventually full military push-ups. So if we start with these very small things, and here's the thing, is so many people sign up for this program, and I'm calling them up or texting them or messaging them, hey, when are you going to start? When are you going to start? And I can feel it right through the phone or right through the text. They're in full panic. They think they have to change everything. And I'm like, nope, just start and just get one thing done at a time. If you're still on coffee when you start, that's okay. You don't have to immediately rip coffee out of your life. You need to slowly reduce it so that you're off coffee before your first cleanse. If you don't know how to meal prep or don't know how to cook, you're going to slowly learn, but you're going to learn 1 step at a time. Let's start with boiling some water. Then we'll put in some vegetables and then call it soup. And then, it's 1%. Massive change is great. And even Tony Robbins, who I follow a lot, he talks about taking massive action, or following your your massive action plan. But I think there's a lot more success going to happen in these 1% shifts. Just getting a little bit better, 1% each day will get you to your goal. Continuous movement, as the little block says. All right, so which is better, willpower or discipline?
Discipline.
I'm not going to eat the cookie. I'm not going to eat the cookie. Look at my knuckles are all white. I'm white knuckling. I'm not going to eat the cookie. But if I'm thinking about cookies and thinking about cookies and thinking about cookies, eventually I'm going to cave and the whole bag is going to be gone. So we definitely want to choose between what we want now and what we want most. So yeah, cookies sound good right now, but what we want most is health and wellness. And if we're getting 1% better, 1% better, 1% better, we're probably going to be looking for and finding recipes for things like cookies or tacos or other desserts or other foods that we used to eat, but we're not eating them now. There's different variations. Look at the noodles that we talked about noodles this week. People can't ever have noodles or pasta again. Well, yes, we can. There's spaghetti squash. There's zoodles. There's the miracle noodles. It's skinny noodles. There's the hearts of palm noodles. There's the egg white noodles. There's just different things. So when we practice different little disciplines, which are habits, the more we practice the little disciplines, they become the habits. Your level of discipline is really what determines your level of success. And developing discipline takes time and effort. So you do have to set an intention to say, okay, I'm going to have a discipline of working out 3 times a week. So how do we do that? So the only way I know how to do that would be get it in the calendar, make a plan for it. So if your workouts are at a gym and you take the classes, go to the group schedule, pick out the classes and put them in your calendar. So Monday at 6 p.m. is going to be the Zumba class. Wednesday at 6 p.m. is going to be the yoga class. I mean, whatever, you fill in those blanks. It could be 6 a.m., could be whatever time you want, but that would be the little disciplines. These are basically little process goals to get the disciplines going. Because willpower, I'm going to work out, or I'm going to get up at 5 in the morning and work out for a whole hour. How long is that going to last? boy, the comfortable bed is going to be real comfortable on a lot of those mornings when you wake up and it's 5 a.m. and it's still dark out. So we cannot rely on the willpower. All right, who you are becoming. This is a big deal. This is really one of the most important pieces of behavior change, is becoming the healthy and fit person, or becoming whatever it is you want. If your original goal is I'm going to run a half a marathon, your real goal is not to run a half a marathon. Your real goal is to become a runner. If your goal is to write a book, your real goal is to become a writer. So how do you do that? You're not going to start off by writing a book. What you start off with, write a sentence, write a little blog, and then write a couple of paragraphs blog. And then maybe, kind of work your way up and go from there and grow, get 1% better, doing a little bit more each time. Eventually you can put a whole book together. And same with the marathon. You're not going to run 13 miles, but you're going to start, maybe you run just up the block. And each day, if you get 1% better, but you are becoming the runner, you are becoming the writer, you are becoming a healthy and fit person. So it's how you finish the sentence, I am, is a huge, huge impact on how you show up, how you identify yourself, how you see yourself, and also almost as important is what you believe other people see you as. So and there was a study shown, like a school teacher, it was the new school year, and the school teacher, the teacher that had the kids from last year told the new school teacher from this new school year, this kid is the bad kid and this kid is a bad kid or smart kid or whatever it was. And so that teacher told the new teacher, and the teacher kind of treated the bad kids like they were bad kids, or they're not just very smart kids. And the children actually displayed those kinds of behaviors. But if in the same study was done opposite, this kid is really smart, this kid is really smart, these kids are really well behaved, and the teacher treated them as such. So they ended up displaying the behaviors. And what's interesting is they were the same kids. They were the same kids, but they were being treated in a different way. But imagine that is how much internal dialogue that we have. And I know, and I'm guilty of it too. This is a practice I have to work on a regular basis, how I talk to myself and how I choose to see myself. So we really got to focus on what we do right. I love Jim Rohn, his little saying over here. It says, don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Don't wish you for less problems, wish for more skills. Don't wish for less challenges, wish for more wisdom. The major value in life is not what you get. The major value in life is what you become. And I would say who you become. Success is not to be pursued. It is to be attracted to the person that you become. So you are becoming a fit and healthy person. And the best way I know how to help you shift, because if I identify as I'm average, and this is my truth. I'm Italian. I'm half Italian, but that's what I identify as Italian. So, and my dad's Italian, full-blown Italian. All my aunts on his side, all Italian, of course, and they were all very barrel-shaped. So I just believed, we have a lot of limiting beliefs. I believe that, I'm supposed to be barrel-shaped because that's just who we are, and that's just how we are. But turns out the family, it's not so much the genetics of the family, it's the traditions. And we ate a lot of bread and we did eat a lot of pasta. And so that's how I was raised. It's just how it was. And that in my mind was my normal. So if I identify as I'm Italian and I'm average and I'm supposed to have a belly or whatever, then that's how I'm going to show up. So I'm going to allow myself to eat more breads and more pastas and things that are going to keep me in that current condition. So when I start to shift, if I want to shift out of that and I want to become a healthier, fit person, I want to surround myself with other healthier, fit people so I can see what their normal looks like. And then it becomes my new normal. It's like turning up a thermostat. You turn your thermostat up to at 75, and then you open the door and all that hot air comes in or that cold air comes in. The AC comes on and makes the room back to 75, if that's what I have it set at. So if I believe I'm average or I'm Italian, I'm supposed to be barrel shaped, I can lose the 30 pounds, but oh my gosh, 6 months later, I put it back on because I didn't change my identity and I didn't change who I think I am. The only way to do that is by shifting my identity and who I think I am, AKA the thermostat. The only way I know how to do that and how to teach you guys to do that is to, at the end of the day, when we are writing out your gratitudes, I'm just going to recommend that you do write your gratitudes at the end of the day, all the things that you're grateful for that happened, but write at least 3 to 5 things that you're grateful for to yourself for what you did right. Because remember in the discipline versus willpower, I'm white knuckling it, oh, I ate the cookie, you know, because I was too kind of relying on the willpower. If I eat the cookie and I beat myself up over and over and over and over again, I am reminding myself I am a failure because I ate the cookie. I ate the cookie, and I'm reminding myself of the guilt, and I'm reminding myself of how terrible I did and how I failed. And that's how we train the subconscious mind, is repetition. So instead of let's shift that over. So if at the end of the day and say, well, I had a perfectly good breakfast. My breakfast was on point. When I went to lunch with my girlfriends, I made good choices at the restaurant. And then after lunch, we went for a walk instead of going out for ice cream. So there's 3 things right there that I did right. But if every night I write down 3 to 5 things that I did right, you know, I might acknowledge the cookie and say, well, what could I have done different so that I have a backup plan? But if I'm more so focused on what I did right, I am reminding my subconscious mind that I am truly becoming a healthier and fit person. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so the 4 laws of behavior change. We got the cue, we got the craving, we got the response, and we got the reward. So to cue it, what triggers us? Well, we got to make it obvious. The cue could be like a sound or a smell or a situation or a person. Something triggers us. So if we're trying to create a good habit, a new habit, we have to make it really, really obvious. If my goal is to drink more water, I've got to put water bottles in every room that I go into today. Or I got to get a water bottle that has measurements on there so I know how many ounces of water I'm drinking. I might even make it more fun too by having a pretty water bottle or a nice hydro flask that stays cold in the hot car. So making it obvious is number 1. Making it really attractive. We've got to make it desirable. So we want to make it something that we really do want to do. You got to make it really, really easy. If it ain't easy, we ain't gonna do it. And we've got to make it satisfying, right? We've got to make it, this has got to be the reward part of it. So if we make it obvious, we make it attractive, we make it easy, and we make it satisfying. Once we make it satisfying, that's when we create a habit, is something that we're going to repeat. If we make it obvious, we make it attractive, we make it easy, we'll do it. But if we make it satisfying, that's what makes us doing it again. That reward, that dopamine hit that we get when we make it super satisfying, that's what creates an actual habit. Also, being patient. One moment of patience may ward off great disaster, but one moment of impatience may ruin a whole life. And James Clear, in his book, was talking about how you got to be patient, because remember the 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%. It's so slow moving at first, and we're just going and going and going and going, and we're barely getting ground. And this is where most people drop off. And he calls it the valley of disappointment, I think he calls it, or I used to call, I had a different, it was the valley of despair, but he called it valley of disappointment. And that's where most people fall out. So just hang in there. Please be patient. You guys are all here for different reasons: gut, liver, hormones, weight loss, all the above, or something else, blood sugars, liver stuff. So some of these things are more severe than others. It's going to take a little bit of time. All right, so let's talk about how to create these cues that make it good. So optimizing the environment, that would be the example of making it obvious, putting the water bottles around the room. If I'm trying to learn how to play an instrument, I want to learn to play the fiddle, I got to take the fiddle out of the closet and put it where I can see it. And right, so I want to make it visible. If I want to have healthier foods in my body, I have to have healthier foods in my house. I 100% of the time, this is non-negotiable. 100% of the time, if you open my freezer, there's frozen proteins, fish, seafoods, shrimp, scallops, chicken, ground turkey. All of that stuff is, and it's most of it is in individual serving sizes, like a piece of fish. But I always know there's a protein. And also on the other side of my freezer are bags of frozen vegetables. So I always have frozen vegetables and frozen proteins. So in a pinch, if I thought I had something ready for dinner or available and it's gone, or it went bad, or oopsie, I forgot I did eat that last of it, in my environment, in my home, I have something that I can fall back on and go to. So your environment is key. Joining a group like this, you're surrounding yourself with like-minded people. That's part of being in an environment that's going to support your goals. Signing up with your coach for one-on-ones, surround yourself with somebody, a mentor, or doesn't have to be me, but you guys paid for it, so use me. But other things, listen to podcasts, listen to other health and wellness experts, so that you have an environment of what you put in your head is as important as what you put in your body. So the more you guys can listen to these kinds of informational things, or podcasts, or books on tape, that's part of your environment. Optimizing your environment, taking those cookies out of the house. If they're in the house, I'm going to eat them. So, make it harder to get. Remember that it was make it easy for the good habits, but you got to make it hard for the bad habits. The 2-minute rule. So this kind of comes back to the 1% thing is, so we sign up for a program like this. We're trying to get healthy. We're trying to lose some weight. We're trying to get our gut right. We're trying to clean up the liver, balance the hormones, all the things. And we're telling you, do this. We've got all these things we're trying to ask you to do. And it's like, oh my God, this is so overwhelming. And this is why people are afraid to even start. Please just start. And I will hold your hand if you let me. But one of the things that you can do is just chunk it all the way down, like the 2-minute rule. So if we're asking you, okay, start exercising, meal prep, meal plan, write down all your foods, go to the gym, do all these things. And you're like, oh my God, I've never done any of this ever before. This is too much. So if you bring it down to a 2-minute rule, any of those things, what can you do in 2 minutes? So for example, if exercise is something that you're trying to incorporate as a new habit, well, in 2 minutes, it only takes me about 2 minutes to put my tennis shoes on. So you get that. And so now, because that was the only little tiny goal, because we want to chunk it down into little goals, I can do that in 2 minutes. So now I have a level of success. Because if I say, oh, I got to work out and I don't know what I'm doing, so I hesitate and I procrastinate. That's why we procrastinate. We don't really know what to do. Or, we're afraid it's going to hurt. We're afraid of certain things. We have certain fears about it. Fear of success even. So we procrastinate. But then we set ourselves up for that feeling of failure, and we keep repeating that, and that's what trains our subconscious mind. Oh, we failed at this. We don't know how to do this. We're not good at this. We fail at this. So if I set a 2-minute rule, okay, I can put my tennis shoes on. Now I've succeeded because I did exactly that. I was able to get my tennis shoes on. Perfect. Now that the tennis shoes are on, maybe we can go for a walk, go for a quick little run, or do something else that might take just 2 minutes. Take a 2-minute run. 2 minutes is a long time if you're not used to it, or a really fast walk if your knees or hips or back are not having it. I'm not a runner either, but just breaking it down to small things. Something that you can do within 2 minutes, and then stack it. Then something else you can do within 2 minutes, and then something else you can do within 2 minutes. And before you know it, you've been doing something for 30 minutes, but it was little teeny tiny pieces at a time. Habit stacking, he talks about this a lot in the book. And this is a way to start to create new habits, habit stacking. So the habit stacking is something that you're already doing. Let me see this. This one was habit stacking. I always mix these two up. Well, habit stacking when you're putting an old habit with a new habit. So if my old habit, I brush my teeth, but my habit is to get into getting more spiritual, time for prayer, whatever. So maybe I would have 5 minutes of prayer time before I get to brush my teeth, something like that. These are the two I mix up. Temptation bundling. That's where I put something, I think that's the one where I put something with that I don't want to do with something that that I do like to do. So for example, if I do like to binge watch my soap opera, but I know that's not productive, it's not, it's kind of like a guilty pleasure. But if I allow myself to binge watch my soap opera, once I've done my meal prep, the thing I know I'm supposed to do, then I reward myself with the binge watching of my soap opera. Now that's temptation bundling, and I've given myself a reward, and that starts to trigger that dopamine hit, and it makes me want to do it again. Also, in the case of meal prep, for me personally, it's not the reward of having the food, it's the consequence of if I don't do it, my whole next week is screwed because I won't have anything to eat. So depends on however you want to look at that. But for me, if you guys are having trouble with meal prepping, just making a big pot of something, or a nice big casserole of something, or a chili of something, or a stew of something, and you're having trouble getting to that, give yourself a guilty pleasure that you'll reward yourself with once it's done. And really, I could actually, in my kitchen, because my kitchen and living room are kind of one room, I could watch my soap opera while I'm cooking my food. So I really could do them both at the same time. If Netflix is your thing and you like to binge watch Netflix, get on the treadmill and watch the Netflix right on your phone. And so that way you're putting something that you love, which is more of a guilty pleasure, and you probably shouldn't be spending your time doing that, with something you know you should be spending your time doing. Also, CCIA, committed, consistent, imperfect action. Actually, I think it's consistent, committed, imperfect action. So again, 1%, we don't have to be perfect, you guys. We're just going to start, do the very best you can, and then just get a little bit better every single day. All right, so now we know kind of how to create some new habits. But what habits should you create? What are some of the processes that will create some success for you in the area of health and wellness? Monday night, if you guys didn't see it, I talked about process goals. So there's different little processes. So if we have a goal of losing 50 pounds, what are all the little processes that we need to do to get to that 50 pounds? We need to get the foods right. We need to get the macronutrients right. We need to get the calories right. We need to move the body right. We need to understand what the ingredients are, all the things. So I thought I would just put up some of those habits up here for you to aim for and consider some of these habits. So always knowing where your next meal is coming from. And this is really important because if you're just gonna wing it, you're gonna end up, life is gonna hand you, life is a box of what is that? It's a box of chocolates, you never know what you're gonna get, right? What was that? What was that movie? Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump. You know, you don't want to be handed a box of chocolate. You never know what you're going to get. And this can go down to, like, if you're going to a conference and they're providing the food, do your homework, call ahead of time, ask them if there's any dairy-free or gluten-free options, or whatever the case may be. I remember going on a road trip with some friends, and there was enough of us, we had 2 cars. So, but we were going far enough, it was going to definitely be in, the road trip was in the middle of lunchtime. So rather than just hoping that they want to stop for lunch, I asked about it before we even started, because we all met it in the parking lot over at wherever we met, Walmart, whatever. I said, okay, well, so what's the plan for lunch? So if we're not going to stop, then I need to go get something or make sure I'm picking something up. So you always want to know where your meal is. If I wait till 7 o'clock at night, I'm like, oh, gee, I'm hungry, and I don't have a plan. I mean, right now I've already taken a piece of mahi out of my freezer. That's what I'm having for dinner, and I already have a salad ready made, so I already know what my dinner is going to be. So knowing where your next meal is hugely important. It's a very important piece of your process. Somebody is in chat. Andrea says, will there be any approved protein bars that we can keep in our vehicles? Yeah, as far as protein bars go, Dang bars, Kirkland bars, or Epic bars is the ones Dr. Infantino recommends. Now, there's a million bars on the market. I'm sure of it. There's just a million bars, and there's a lot of them good and a lot of them crap. So if you're out somewhere, you can take a picture of the ingredients list and shoot it over to my text, and I can give you a quick answer on that. But that's the one he recommends: Epic, Dang bars, and the Kirkland. Just not the peanut butter Kirkland, because peanuts are off the menu. All right, so a habit that will serve you well is spending a few minutes every day or often learning about different ingredients, and not just ingredients, but learning about what these things are doing in your body, especially if you're having cravings for sugar. Sugar is a great example. So if you're having a trouble getting off of sugar, if you spend 5 or more minutes every day looking at the dangers of sugar, what that does is it's training your brain to understand that it is dangerous. But by repetition, by doing this on a regular basis, it will become harder and harder and harder. Again, you're improving yourself 1%. Each time you go, oh man, it's going to give me diabetes. Oh man, it's going to give me fatty liver. Oh man, it's going to put me at risk for all kinds of other problems. It could put me at risk for heart disease. It could put me at risk for kidney disease, liver disease, blindness, poor circulation, bad skin, wrinkles. Like, the more you learn what sugar is doing in your body, you're improving your knowledge and what you're thinking about sugar. And hopefully my goal for you is you have a whole different association with it, and now it becomes more of a turnoff than that reward, that dopamine hit that sugar does provide for us in that instant. This was just my example, but I'm just sharing you my habits. So making sure there's always at least a bag of frozen broccoli or cauliflower. There is 100% of the time always cauliflower rice in my freezer, because that's just a backup plan. So if there's always, every time you go to the store, check your freezer. Is there proteins? Is there veggies? If there are, you're good. Or at least, canned tunas, canned chicken, things of that nature. Setting a day and time and what you're actually going to do for your workouts. Because if I say I'm going to work out 3 times next week, that's not a smart goal, is it? because I didn't say when it's gonna be. And I didn't say what I'm gonna do, and I didn't say what time I'm gonna do it. So there's nothing, it's hard to measure, but if I say I'm gonna go Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 a.m. and Monday's gonna be back day, Wednesday's gonna be leg day, Friday's gonna be chest and core. Now I know exactly what I'm gonna do. If I go, and I'm gonna go at 6 in the morning, I'm gonna do it right here at home. I have the videos all picked out that I'm gonna follow, whatever it is. But if you don't set a plan, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Because if I'm gonna work out sometime next week, all of a sudden it's Sunday afternoon and I haven't even thought about it. And now you set yourself up for feeling like it's a failure. And we've got to stay away from the negative, lower vibrational feelings. I want you to do the 2 minute rule. Set yourself up for the win. So you keep winning, keep winning, keep winning, and reminding yourself of the wins so that you become the person that you're trying to become. This one I would say would be minimum, is trying one new recipe a month. I would, in a perfect world, I would love to see one new one a week. I've been going through all the recipes in the book, and we're adding the calories, so you guys will be thrilled to that. So that should be done by probably next week or so. I will make that announcement, and that will be loaded up to the scheduling link where you can just get the manual virtually. And that way you can check in and see the calorie counts for those. But if you try a new recipe, what that does is it gives you more tools. Once you do something a couple of times, it becomes easy. So you're expanding your comfort zone. And number two, guys, these recipes are really good. So the more different variety that you have, the more you're going to trigger that dopamine, the more you're going to trigger that reward system, the more you're going to make newer, better habits in making your best foods. Focusing on the benefits of the healthy foods. You know, grandma always said, or mom always said, eat your veggies. Well, she's not wrong. You know, that's where all your anti-aging is. That's where your vitamins are, your minerals, your antioxidants, your vitamins. They are going to give you nice skin, nice eyes, nice hair, healthy heart, healthy brain, healthy cardiovascular system. So if we focus on the benefits of those foods, it's easier to choose them. That to me, for me, is a bit of a reward. Ooh, I eat all these carrots, I'm going to have better eyesight. I eat red bell peppers, I'm going to have beautiful skin. That to me, as a 61-year-old woman who's aging, that's a reward for me. Maybe that's just me, but that's how I think. And back to what I talked about, this whole talk really is just doing a little bit better every time you go to your workout. Can you do one more? Can you raise the weights? Can you do more sets? Can you do more repetitions? Can you add more exercises? Or can you hold the plank a little bit longer? What is it that you can do to improve just a little teeny tiny bit? Again, don't have to be massive action. It's the little 1% improvements that's going to make all the difference for your success. And it's easier to stick with than trying to do everything different. Oh, I'm going to get up at 5 in the morning and work out for 2 hours. I'm not even going to do that. I'm not even going to do that. All right. So here we go. I put our funnies at the end. I usually have them in the beginning. Does anybody have any questions or thoughts?
Tammy,
Yes.
can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Well, I guess I don't know how to put it in a question, but as far as sleeping goes, one night I'll do good, next night I'll not do good. Is this going to help that, or?
It can. It certainly can. Because there's a lot of toxins in the body, or your adrenals are fatigued. That could be a reason why we don't sleep through the night. Do you fall asleep okay and then not stay asleep?
Yes.
That can be adrenal fatigue. So that's why we want you off caffeine. I know that's Nobody
Right.
likes me when I say that. I lose a lot of friends with that one, but and I know it's kind of hard to get off the coffee, but as you progress and get off the coffee all the way, and we're getting detoxified, is that we're detoxifying. So we have receptors that receive minerals and vitamins, and it's how our body absorbs. But if they're blocked with a lot of toxins, we don't absorb a lot. There's a lot of mucus in the body, so it stops you.
Right.
So we're not as healthy as we could be. So the cleaner that your body gets, you're probably going to sleep better.
Sleep
It
better.
also could matter how cold your room is. The colder your room is, the better for sleep.
Right.
Also, the room should be absolutely pitch black dark. And with all the devices we have our phones, and we're looking at, our tablets or a phone while we're in bed, or we're watching TV right before bed. And this goes into our eyeballs, and it turns something on in the brain saying, oh, it's daylight. So if you are going to use a device right before bed, 2 hours, they say 2 hours before bed, stop using the device. But you should get those, the blue light blocker glasses, which can help with that. Also practicing meditation so that you are calmer and not as wound up or stressed out or anxious about the future. They say if we're anxious, we're worried about the future. Say we're depressed, we're looking at the past. But either way, if we're in either one of those places, becoming more present is meditation brings you right here, right now. So some of those tips on sleeping.
I've been using lavender oil,
And there's
diffusing it in my bedroom, and that's helped some.
I had a lavender lotion, and I would put it on my upper body so I could smell it too. And I feel like that helped. And also I take sometimes a sleepy tea.
Do what now?
Like a chamomile tea or a sleepy time tea.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
And those are herbal,
Okay.
so you can have those.
I have used in the past, I've used magnesium on my feet at night.
Yes, magnesium at night before bed can help. And it also can help with produce a bowel movement too. So if you're struggling with bowel movements and sleep, take magnesium at night.
Yeah, okay. Well,
someone else was saying that she takes the Dr. Infantino's sleep formula, which you can purchase as well.
Yeah. What's in that makes you sleep?
What's in it? I believe, there's several things. There's valerian root, passion flower, I believe hawthorn berry, and I believe some melatonin. It's a blend of herbals.
Okay.
And the store should be opening up in the next few days, but it's still closed at the moment because we just shipped everything from 1A to B, and it hasn't gotten to B yet. So once everything gets to B, we can open up the store, and now they can start shipping again. So right now, everything's in transit. We don't have any of our products right now.
Okay. I have one other question. This is my second day of the cleanse. I did better yesterday than I thought I could. And like you said, it's not as hard as you think it is. But I've noticed yesterday and today I've got just a tinge of a headache. Is there a reason for that?
Yes, that's called the healing crisis.
Okay.
And
it's not bad.
Well, it may be a healing crisis. It could be if your blood sugars are dropping, you could cause a headache too. So make sure you're sipping every 15 minutes. But you can read more about the healing crisis on pages 11 through 14. It talks about detoxification, and then it'll list the healing crisis symptoms. So if you have a little brain fog, don't feel good, headache is the most common.
Yes.
All right, someone was asking me about antibiotics for a root canal. Just go ahead and take your antibiotics because your doctor has prescribed them. But once the antibiotics are done, then double your dose on your probiotics once you're done with your antibiotics. I would say keep doing the program, just keep doing the program. If you're taking antibiotics in the morning, at night, you could take a probiotic in the middle of the day. But to me, it's almost a waste because the antibiotics are killing the probiotics. So it's almost a waste of money. So let them do what they got to do to get rid of any infection, and then double up on your probiotics once you're done. Someone said lavender can cause can energize you if you have too much.
Mhm.
Someone said Florida depletes body's natural melatonin production. Florida or fluoride?
Fluoride. Yeah, I think that.
Okay, yeah. Free YouTube, Universal Mind Hypnosis, and if believer, my kids, and I love Abide Bible Sleep Hypnosis. Oh, that might help. Any of those guided meditations or just the music. It's a lot of those, and there's sleep headphones, by the way. It looks just like a headband, and there's speakers built right in it. So it's not like you're listening to these big things and you're clunky while you're trying to sleep. So you can fall asleep. If that helps you sleep, that's an option.
Tammy, I've got to run. I've got doctor's appointments for just a yearly checkup.
Well, thank you
But
for
anyway,
joining.
thank
I
you.
love having you and I love your participation. So
Thank you.
be sure to book your one-on-one when you're ready.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Someone said there are several types of magnesium. Which do you recommend? Great question, Connie. So Connie, if you are looking for to create a bowel movement, I would go magnesium citrate or a blend. If bowel movement is not your intention, but you want to have some of the other benefits of magnesium, like sleep or blood pressure, or even it's so many things, I would go with magnesium glycinate.
Say that last one. I'm sorry. Glycinate was, remind me what that's for?
The glycinate would be the one that will not produce a bowel movement. So if everything's going pretty well, or maybe if you're even too loose, the last thing you want to do is take a magnesium citrate. Go with a magnesium glycinate. But if you are stuck and having, a little constipation, go with a magnesium citrate.
Okay. And what are the benefits of the glycinate other than?
There's 304 uses in the body for magnesium. Like I said, it can help.
Yeah.
The top of mind is blood pressure, depression. There's so many other things.
What about specifically sleep and for cramps, like leg cramps?
They would both help with leg cramps. I would think they would both help with leg cramps, citrate or glycinate.
Okay.
And a lot of times you're going to see a blend. You'll see glycinate, you'll see citrate, you'll see oxida, the one that starts with OX. There's a bunch of different ones. So the blend, but if you're trying to produce a bowel movement, you want to go citrate.
Yeah.
And just lastly, I want to mention to you guys, this DrInfantino.club, that is where the group is now going to be going. We will be phasing out Facebook group. We still have it now, so if you're still using it, that's fine. But go to there's recipes in there. There's all of it's real easy to go through videos and pick out the topics that you want. And as I start to add more and more and more of these group calls on there, you'll have just millions of choices of topics. So if there's something that you're going through, if it's a mindset struggle, or you just need some recipes, or you need travel tips, or you need, label reading, whatever, exercise, whatever you're needing help with, you can just kind of pick that category and look through those. Someone says, I heard you can take baking soda for constipation or gout flare-up. Yes or no, how much or how often? I've heard it for that for a sour stomach. I've never heard of that to produce a bowel movement. It kind of turns to alkaline in the stomach, so your stomach isn't so nauseous. I remember taking that when I was pregnant because I had a lot of nausea when I was pregnant. I don't know. I'm not sure how much or how often, because if it's for a stomach ache, hopefully you don't have a stomach ache every day. I would have to look that up. I would just probably look that up. All right. Anybody else? Well, I really want to thank you guys all for being here today. I appreciate your questions. Even in chat, the questions are great. It doesn't matter if it's off topic. I want you to get your questions out there and answered. Do we need to download? No, you're going to go to drinfantino.club and and when you put in your email address, use the email address you used with us or it won't let you in. Because that's how it knows you paid to get in. So you should be already signed up. If not, let me know. And then I think I can send you the link, but it should be a simple. Oops. It's simple, it should be as simple as going to drnfantino.club. That should be that simple. But anyway. All right, guys, thank you so much. And I will see you guys hopefully very soon. Bye for now.